Are you ready to revolutionize your relationship with money? Welcome to the Finding Financial Freedom podcast with the Frugal Physician, where I, Dr. Disha Spath, will be your companion on this exciting adventure. Get ready to conquer debt, build wealth, and embrace a mindful spending lifestyle that will empower you to live life on your own terms. Pearson Ravitz' story begins with Dr. Stephanie Pearson, a passionate OB-GYN at the height of her career. But then, a shoulder injury struck during a precipitous delivery. Her dreams were shattered, leaving her unable to practice medicine. Determined to make a difference, Stephanie became an advocate for her peers, guiding them through the complex disability process. Alongside insurance expert Scott Ravitz, Stephanie founded Pearson Ravitz, a company determined to approach insurance differently. Together, they set their mission to educate and empower physicians to protect their most valuable asset, their income, and the most important people in their life, their family. Today, Pearson Ravitz serves the medical community in all 50 states. At Pearson Ravitz, they understand the unique concerns of physicians. Physician-founded and physician-focused, Pearson Ravitz builds human connections before they create quotes. Life can change in an instant. It's hard to imagine that a sudden illness or injury could leave you and your family in a devastating financial situation. But with a little planning and guidance, you can prepare for every possibility. Visit PearsonRavitz.com to schedule your consultation with a Pearson Ravitz advisor. Welcome back to another episode of Finding Financial Freedom with the Frugal Physician. I'm your host, Dr. Disha Spath, here to guide you through the fascinating world of building wealth in ways that resonate deeply with your values while looking good and staying healthy. Today, we're joined by Dr. Shaun McKee, a neuroradiologist who not only excels in her field, but also thrives in creating impactful, value-driven income streams. Dr. McKee has been a neuroradiologist for 33 years. She was the chief resident at University of Florida and the chief of neuroradiology at Kessler Air Force Base. She is a two-time 140.6-mile Ironman triathlete and a 50-mile ultra marathoner. She has been married to her gastroenterologist hubby for 35 years and has two adult sons who are great humans and future attorneys. She's also a proud dog mom to 3 happy little dogs and 1 zany big dog. She's the founder of VitalityMD, helping ambitious, health-minded women over 40 go from frazzled to flourishing. Dr. McKee, thank you for joining us.
Dr. Disha Spath, it's wonderful to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. So first you have to tell us, how do you find time to do both radiology and Ironman races and run a social media company?
Well, goodness, I will have to tell you, it is with the help of a small army. When I first fell in love with endurance sports, I was in high school. I mean, my first marathon with my father when I was a senior in high school, and picked it up again later in medical school. As it happens, when I was pregnant with my second son, my husband decided he too would like to do marathons and ultra marathons. And after my son was delivered, I started back into the training. Luckily, I had a wonderful nanny because, I had to go back to work. So I had to have her there. And so my weekends consisted of long naps with the kids and me hopping on a bicycle and riding 80 miles or so with a small army of help is how I did it.
Wow, I can't even imagine running regularly rather than training for an ultra marathon right after having a child. That's really, really amazing and great that you were able to hop back into it. And it seems like you have sustained that habit of staying active throughout the years.
Absolutely. After my mid-40s, things did modify a little bit. You can only beat yourself up physically for so long, for long periods of time. I modified things and I've gone from endurance to more of a quick, intense bursts of activity that don't really stress my adrenals out. Because yes, if you do those long bouts of just crazy endurance as a woman who's breastfeeding and having children and working and all the things, it can deplete your adrenals. So cautionary tale.
Is your husband also continuing to stay active and work out?
He is. He also ran 2 Ironman triathlons. He didn't do the ultra marathon, but he's done several marathons with me. And his current situation at work is not allowing him the time freedom that he would like to have. So as soon as we can rectify that situation, he'll be back at it.
That's really, really admirable. You talk a lot about on your Instagram feed how women over 40 can be healthier. Can you tell us a little bit about the common concerns that women over 40 have and the things they struggle with?
First of all, I want to tell you that I can't explain how many times I've heard a woman over 40 saying they just have brain fog. They forget why they went into a room. They misplaced their purse, their keys, their wallet, and they just don't have that, as my grandmother used to say, vim, vigor, and vitality that they used to. They just feel foggy, fatigued, even forgetful. And that's not okay for a busy physician, right? Second thing is lack of sleep. A lot of women over 40 report waking up sometime between 2 and 3 in the morning and then not being able to fall back asleep until it seems like just before the alarm goes off. That's agony. You're just like, I just fell asleep. And, you probably didn't just fall asleep, but it feels like it so bad. And then just generalized achiness. Sometimes, you think maybe you chalk it up to a hard workout, but you're just not snapping back and recovering from exercise and just daily living the way you used to, because there's a kind of a dimmer switch, I like to call it, in terms of your body's production of the cellular good guys, the things that do all the cleanup of damaged cells, damaged tissues, toxins, and those kind of things. Those good guys are basically turned down. The production of them is turned down like a dimmer switch. And that really starts to become apparent after age 40.
So what are some key habits and exercise routines that you recommend to women to help them age well and get over some of these common concerns?
Well, first of all, any little bit you can do is better than what you didn't do, right? So if you have a rebounder, just 1 minute or 2 minutes of bouncing up and down on a rebounder, you can buy them on Amazon. They're not expensive. Daily walks. Again, if you don't have 30 minutes, go for a 10-minute walk. Okay. Here's my favorite, jump squats. I love jump squats. You just drop down, pop back up, do it again 10 more times. And it's invigorating.
I mean, that sounds actually kind of fun. We had Dr. Jed on. He was talking about doing burpees and pull-ups. I was like, oh, that's painful. But jump squats, I could probably handle.
I was at a women's equestrian kind of a dude ranch type thing with a bunch of women physicians called Women Physicians Equestrians. If you're a woman and you love horses, you should definitely look for that Facebook group. But they had a fun contest at the last day and they just did random things. And I got up for the last competition. They said, let's do squats. And I'm like, oh, I got this.
Squats are like my favorite activity exercise-wise. My husband hates leg day, but I really enjoy it. I don't know why. I feel like the women's body is better equipped to handle leg day, but I was doing squats all the way until I delivered my babies when I was pregnant and 9 months in, and it just felt really good. And I think squats are a very important thing for women of all ages to do, especially as we get older. Can you talk about weight-bearing exercise and how important that is for women?
Oh, I think it's very crucial. In fact, I have just a 10-minute workout that I do, which is just body weight, 100% body weight, no equipment needed. I do it every day on my page. So if you'd like to follow me and join in, it's around 8 or 9 in the morning. Sometimes I remember to switch it for daylight savings time. Sometimes I don't, but the recordings are there and you can go back. It's literally just 10 minutes of jogging in place, leg lifts, side lunges, etc., push-ups, and a few crawls and burpees occasionally.
So let's talk about menopause and perimenopause. Obviously, these are very bothersome to women and seem somewhat inevitable. How can physicians better navigate the symptoms of perimenopause and menopause while practicing medicine? Because we know we don't need anything else getting in our way.
Absolutely. Well, prioritizing sleep and nutrition are two of the big things. And if you definitely don't advocate for pharmaceutical aids for sleep, just because that just runs into the whole laundry list of unintended effects, you can practice great sleep hygiene, having a dark room, not using your bed for anything but sleep and other, bed type activities, not including working or reading stressful things. If you want to read a novel to fall asleep, that's one thing. The other thing, hydration. And as far as nutrition, just the micronutrients. And so many people don't get enough nutrients, primarily in the form of vegetables in their diet. And even if they do eat a lot of vegetables, our vegetables today are 60% of what they used to be in terms of their minerals and vitamins. So you can add extra vegetables by just blending them. And I love to do this. It's one of my hacks. You put 75% of a blender full of organic frozen spinach leaves. They go in there all crispy and fun. Then you could add celery or cucumber, even frozen broccoli, and then just a little bit of berries and or banana to sweeten it. And it's not as horrible as it sounds. You can make enough for 4 servings and it keeps for a couple of days. That's just a great way to refresh and kind of energize.
I love that. At one point, I was into juicing and the green machine with the kale and the ginger. It was just so yummy to me. But I like the blending idea better because you keep the fiber in.
It's also a little bit more labor intensive, I find, to use a juicer just with cleaning. You got to get the fiber out. But the other thing is, If you're new to this fiber and blending situation, definitely proceed slowly because there can definitely be a repercussion in the intestinal system, but you got to ease into it.
Got it. What about skincare? What are some common tips for busy women that are struggling to take care of their skin, from all the stress of practicing medicine?
I'm so glad you asked that. My hairdresser used to say when I was in my late 30s, at least you should wear a tinted moisturizer, because I had blotchy skin and I just never had good skin. And in my late 50s now, people compliment my skin. And I think it's because a couple things. Number one, there are skincare regimens out there that are very expensive and have a lot of acclaim, but they're full of toxins. And we've got to check out what you put on your skin. There's an app that I use called Think Dirty. The motto is Think Dirty, Shop Clean. And you could put anything in your bathroom cabinet that you put on your skin or on your hair, and it rates it on a scale of 0 to 10 in terms of toxicity. And this is a scale you do not want to score a 10 out of 10 on because it means it's full of endocrine disruptors, carcinogens, and toxins. And you want something in the range of 0 to 3. Okay. And I've found a line that's 0. The other thing is you have to make sure that even though it's clean, that it actually works. You have to find a line that has real science behind it, science that shows it increases moisture, it activates the periostin in the skin, which is the thing that models your collagen, holds it in structure. Obviously, hydration is super important, and taking hydrolyzed liquid collagen peptides. You don't want to take a powdered collagen because it's not very bioavailable. And you don't want to take something that's not hydrolyzed because your body can't absorb the full protein of collagen. It's too big. So you want the hydrolyzed peptides. And it's extra bonus points if you can activate your body's collagen producing genes. And that makes for beautiful skin as well as turning down the genes that break down collagen.
There's a lot to unpack there. Are you talking about oral supplements and not topical?
Yes, there is one particular brand. I don't want to name drop it. If anyone wants to know, they can feel free to contact me, but it has hydrolyzed peptides as well as botanicals that literally turn on the 3 collagen producing genes and a separate nutritional herb that turns down the gene that breaks down collagen.
Okay. And just for full disclosure, are you an affiliate or an ambassador to any of these brands?
Yeah, I'm on the scientific advisory board for the company.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. I feel like we could keep going on this forever, but are there any skincare regimens, routines, topically that you'd recommend?
Oh, yeah. In fact, again, the same company that, produced the collagen, it's a whole system. It's called activated skincare. And the cleanser, it actually exfoliates the skin gently, which I love because if you use walnut husks or any type of jojoba beads, that damages the skin. And sometimes people are a little aggressive with that. So it's nice to have. And then the chemical exfoliants can damage the skin. So this is a gentle enzymatic process. There are eye serums that lift and actually affect the eyes in a 360-degree fashion. So it actually lightens dark circles. It removes by lipolysis the fat underneath the eyes that make eye bags. And it actually helps lift the eyelids. I didn't notice it, but I had the beginnings of droopy eyelids, and now I don't.
Yeah, oculoplasty seems very unpleasant to go through. So that sounds amazing. So let's talk a little bit about how your career has progressed. I mean, you were practicing neuroradiologist for quite a while. How did you go from that to wellness?
Oh, this is a great question. So in my mid-40s, when I was doing all the things that I was doing, Ironman, triathlon, endurance running, CrossFit, obviously you're burning the candle at 12 ends. The things that you asked me, what women over 40 experience, I was experiencing all those on steroids. And also had other businesses, rental real estate, a lot of rental real estate that we were developing, multifamily homes, et cetera. Then we had a gym that I was co-owner of, and I also managing partner of. And then I had a plant nursery that my mom was the manager of that we owned. Those 3 brick and mortar businesses, plus my full-time practice and athletic career was, there was a breaking point in which I was like, I don't have a job. I am the job. And when I was feeling the tiredness that goes with the mid-40s, my husband sweetly suggested I see this anti-aging doctor. And I was a little insulted, but, she said, maybe you're low in D3 or thyroid or something, or magnesium. Then it turns out I was low in all of that. And after thousands of dollars of testing, she put me on her quote unquote anti-aging cocktail of gobs of supplements. And plus I was really trying to learn all about things that are anti-inflammatory, and it seemed like everything kind of said that they did the same thing. And I was taking it all, not really feeling any better. I go to see her for my 6-month follow-up. And she told me about this company that I'm on the scientific advisory board for. She said they have something that's clinically proven to lower the underlying cause of everything that goes wrong after the age of 20. And I'm like, you had me at hello. I didn't intend for this to become like, a pivot or my passion. But I also found that along with my 3 brick and mortar businesses, basically, and evening board meetings, et cetera, sucking the life out of me, then I had family health problems. My grandmother had an Alzheimer's break and had to be hospitalized. She just didn't recognize my grandfather anymore. Then he, while she was in another hospital, fell and broke his hip. So he's in literally like 40 miles apart, different hospitals, because he was in a specialty rehab after his hip surgery. Around the same time, my mom was diagnosed with floor mouth cancer, and you know how devastating that is. So she had to be treated at MD Anderson in Texas. And I'm an only child of an only child. The opportunity came up to kind of either join the physicians that owned the imaging center where I worked, or become an independent contractor and not be associated with that practice, because they wanted to take it in-house for financial reasons. And I did not want to be an employee. So I just shifted into, contract physician for different imaging companies. And then that allowed me the opportunity to pick and choose which contracts I want, to no longer renew them if I didn't want to. And it turns out that this fun side gig of helping people feel and look better by activating the good that's already inside, resulting in women who were foggy, frazzled, and fatigued now feeling fantastic and basically like they were in their 20s again. I was like, this is fun. And so I just started leaning into that. Still have our rental real estate business, sold the gym, sold the nursery. So now we've got this, I call it activation income. We are helping people activate, and we've got the rental income. And this wellness thing is just where people are right now. And it's fun to be where people are going.
Well, I totally relate to your sandwich generation struggle. And I feel like a lot of women, especially as physicians and people that are in healthcare, we are often tasked and want to take on the task of taking care of the elderly in our family and the generation that cared for us. It sounds like there's a lot of adjustment going on during that time period in your life that you had to make space to do that. Do you have any words of wisdom for other women that might also be struggling with being in the sandwich?
Yes, it's just take many breaks. You have to try to compartmentalize and prioritize getting some sunshine on your face and body if you can, even if it's a minute, literally just stolen moments. I actually have a guide that I produce, which kind of highlights the top 5 stolen moments where you can just take a powerful pause to boost up your own resilience. So if anyone wants that, they can reach out to me for that. Even breathing. Remember a time in my life where I swear I thought I didn't even have time to pee, and that's because I didn't have time to pee.
Yep. Happens a lot in medicine.
And I said that out loud on so many occasions. I don't have to pee. Anyway, I just don't think people should live like that. I really don't. And so just take time for peace. Slow Me Down, Lord is a poem that I love. I can't remember the author's name. Slow me down, Lord, ease the pounding in my heart. If you take that as nighttime meditation, that's a good reminder to you can only do so much, and you have to fill your cup before you can fill others' cups.
Absolutely. We get so caught up in just doing the next task and the next task and trying to stay on track and see as many people as possible or do as much paperwork as possible. And just little moments of stopping, taking a deep breath, setting an intention, resetting between rooms even can be so powerful for our overall wellness, overall state of mind, and also makes us better physicians, right? When we walk in refreshed into a room rather than frazzled.
Absolutely. And I'll share that tip that I was sharing with you before the podcast, the power pose, arms akimbo, hands on your hips, elbows out, standing up tall and straight. If you can do that for a minute or two in between patients or in between tasks, it lowers your cortisol, it increases your testosterone, and makes you just more resilient and effective. So it's a wonderful little hack.
Yeah, I was really impressed with that. I mean, just taking a second to take a deep breath before we start something like you just did before this podcast. It was so powerful and really calming to just transition into the next thing. And again, just give yourself that freedom of taking a second just for yourself to get into the right mindset. It's super important and a really nice reminder. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Forget the burdens of tenants and toilets. Equity Multiple simplifies your investment journey, letting you invest passively in vetted, professionally managed commercial real estate. Only 5% of reviewed investments reach Equity Multiple's platform, with our asset management working on each from funding through exit to maximize your returns. Whether you're on the couch in your exec chair or the backseat of a ride share, Equity Multiple brings cash-flowing real estate investments straight to your fingertips. All investments involve risk. Visit equitymultiple.com to learn more.
So let's talk about a little bit about your values. You've mastered the art, it seems, of balancing high-intensity careers with personal passions. So how do you start creating income streams that align so closely with your values, and how would you advise other people to start doing the same?
Well, if you find something that you've been looking for and it has an effect on your life, a positive effect on your life, and you can think of anyone else who might have that same desire, who might be searching for the same solution and who would benefit from the same changes that you've experienced, if you can do that and it's a possibility of turning that into a business or an income stream for you, why wouldn't you? I mean, I think that the only way I can think of making a living and the only way I can think of being truly happy with this as an income stream is to have a personal positive impact on somebody. When you can change someone's lives for the better and you have a small role in that, that's huge. And I can't think of a better way to make an income. That's what we do as physicians. We help people with, their health problems. And if you're in real estate, you provide secure, safe housing for people. If you have Airbnbs, you want to provide an enjoyable, relaxing vacation experience for your guests. And, if you're into wellness or health, if you can take someone from a state that they just don't want to be in, where they're feeling depleted and exhausted and harried and harangued, all the things, and you can bring them into a state of joy and vitality where they're just, as my Graham said, vigor and vitality, if they're just a different person because of something that you run into their lives, it feels good. And why wouldn't you want to make that an income stream? So you should.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how I fell into the finance space, because I was struggling with my finances. We ended up turning things around, and it gave me so much joy to help other people do the same. There's really no greater joy than doing something that's also helping other people, something that you feel passionate about. I love deep diving into finance stuff, and continuing to learn going forward. And it's fun to be able to share it. And if you have a passion like that, or something that may not be your professional wheelhouse, but you're passionate about it, you really want to learn about it, why not teach other people along the way? I think that's a great way to build a business.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But it does provide that satisfaction that can be somewhat difficult to get in medicine. I'm not going to say it's not there. Of course, it's there when you help patients. But in medicine, we're often so pulled in so many different directions at all times. And it's very task-oriented, and you have a lot of external pressures. If you can find something else that helps supplement your income stream, I think you should definitely do it. So with such a busy life, maintaining these income streams must require some innovative strategies. What tools or practices have you found most effective in managing everything?
Well, the main thing is delegation, having the right person in the right seat on the bus. You can't do it all. And I've been able to look at my daily obligations and pick out the things that could be done by anyone as long as they're done correctly. And I've just, made a system of developing procedures for various things that don't bring me joy that I have to do, and putting someone else in that role, and then using that invested in time for other things.
Yeah. I mean, in physician practices, we're so good about that, right? You could answer the phones and schedule patients and, room them and draw their blood, but we don't do that because it's not worth the physician's time. We could be making a whole lot more impact, seeing more patients, and not doing those things and having other people do those things frees your time up. But we're so bad at delegating our personal lives, right, as physicians? Because especially as women, we feel like we should be doing it all. There's a lot of pressure, especially in the Indian community, to, cook and clean and do the laundry and be an amazing mother and be an amazing physician. And then you start adding running businesses and real estate, and then it just becomes so much. To be able to delegate is such an important skill. Do you sit down and do this in a written format, or does this sort of happen kind of more organically over time?
Basically, I just kind of brainstorm areas that I need help in. And then I put the top like 3 or 4 tasks in each area. And then with the help of, virtual assistants or in-home assistants, just taking that and breaking it down and saying, this is the way I'd like to this task done each day or each week. And then just giving my people that I'm delegating to a little bit at a time, making sure they're doing it right and making sure they understand, and then adding the next thing and then the next thing and the next thing. So initially, it may be something, teeny tiny, but, at the end of a year, you've got this long list of things that they take care of for you, which is nice.
Give me some examples of things you have outsourced.
Oh, I'm going to give up the secrets. Okay. So
that's why we're here.
Number one, each year I record a birthday greeting. And if this is a person that I'm connected to, I have my assistant be sure to send out that birthday greeting along with the personal, hello name, right? And then that recording that I made for the year goes out to them. And then when they respond, then I personally respond back. So I'm having a real conversation, but the initial reach out was not me. It's my voice, but it's not my fingers doing the sending on that. So it's just that keeping in touch with people that just, helps, because sometimes when you're in touch with somebody on their birthday, they may be like, you know what, I've been meaning to reach out to you. I've been having issues with and then you can help them. So that's one thing. Obviously, cleaning the house is another thing. Once a week, I have a lady who is absolutely amazing, super sweet, and just so professional at it. And she's in and out in 2 hours, what would take me, 8 hours to do. Does a much better job at it. There's other things like keeping up with business contacts in a CRM. Now, I am moving into utilizing artificial intelligence for that, which is VA on steroids, which if used properly. And there's all kinds of ways that you can maximize the leverage that AI gives you by, having a prompt that actually gives you a great result instead of blah that sounds like it's virtual AI. And sometimes you can see people's ads or posts and you're like, oh, that was written with AI. And, you don't want to do that, but just use it where it can really lean in on what you're looking to convey.
Is there a particular AI interface that you're using to delegate?
I just use ChatGPT, but I invested in Darren Hardy. He used to be the editor of Success Magazine, and he has, interviewed the top CEOs for decades. And he's just kind of gleaned this repository of business advice, et cetera. So once a year, he does a business masterclass. I just did that about 2 weeks ago. And he has this portal that he's put together where he has some really great prompts to help you dig down into your mission and who you help and why and how. We're in the process of using ChatGPT to really just build up a robust, audience person that I'm speaking to. Because if you speak to everyone, you speak to no one, right? So really getting to that nitty gritty of who the woman is that's exhausted and tried everything and just nothing's working. And she just, feels like she's blah. It's going to help with keeping in contact and the email sequencing that you're doing a beautiful job with, by the way.
Thank you. Well, I have excellent help as well. I'm so glad that I outsourced some of the stuff that I was doing all by myself for the Frugal Physician for the last 5 years. And it's made the whole thing so much better, a better experience for the interviewees. And that's so important also, just for building. And I love that you're investing in courses still with other people and you're reaching out for wisdom to other people. Can you talk a little about investing in yourself and spending money, which I don't like to do, but spending money in growth?
Well, yes, it's so important because it's not that you don't know it. It's that it's not brought to the front of your mind. And that's the beauty of investing in, help that's structured and is in an area that you're wanting to grow in, because it's not knowledge that's the source of all power. It's execution. It's doing the thing that you should do, and you do it. And then you have the power, right? You just get it done. And these, just depending, there's so many leadership courses you can take. I've done the Tony Robbins coaching. I've done Darren Hardy and more. And I used to hear people say, I've got $100,000 education in personal growth. And I'm like, how could you do that? But these are people that are earning millions, and success leaves clues, right? That's how they got there.
I mean, $100,000 a year, it seems outrageous, but a couple of hundred will still get you somewhere. I think I've always been of the mindset that, I'd rather read the book and do the research to grow myself. But I am starting to realize the value in someone else just giving it all to you. It's a whole lot more time efficient. And like you said, it helps you walk the process better when you don't spend all your time trying to find the right information.
Yes, absolutely. They've distilled down decades of experience in this one area, and they can just kind of spoon feed it to you. And, you may not get it the first time you take a course on that subject. So a year or two later, you take another course on that subject by a different guru, we'll call them, and you're going to hear it because now you're ready. When the student is ready, the teacher appears, right? You now can hear that same advice, knowledge, piece of actionable work that you can do, and you didn't hear it before, even though it was told to you. So it's just, I think it's good to always be learning and then take a moment, apply what you learned, distill the best of what you heard and put it into action. And with every course that you take, like whether it's a $99 weekend workshop or boot camp or whatever, if you could just take away one thing, I did one time, and that's when I realized that virtual assistants were something that I too could have. It changed my life.
Yeah. So tell me about that. I actually wanted to ask you earlier, where did you find your virtual assistant and how do you work with them?
So I actually found my virtual assistants from the person who was giving that weekend boot camp. He mentioned that he had one. And so I asked if it was okay if I messaged his to see if they had a referral, and they did. And it took me 2 or 3 to find the correct one or the one that worked with me. But we got onto a Zoom and I just kind of introduced myself and who I was and what I was about and the things that I was looking for. And I had written out a spreadsheet of when to do what and just kind of gave her a few lines at a time. And then we checked back in on video a couple of times. And then once I realized that she got it, I let her run free and then just gave feedback through communications digitally rather than in person Zoom. It's just worked out beautifully. And if anyone would like to, learn about that, I can put you in touch with her because she actually trains VAs.
Oh, wonderful. And is she locally based? Because I know there are a lot of VAs that are like in the Philippines and such.
Yes, so that's where she is.
Okay. How much does that cost?
Well, it just depends. Some are like $5 to $8 an hour, if you can believe that. It's crazy. And then, it just depends on what they do. And if you train them, like if you're the one actually giving them the procedures, or if you're just saying, I'd like this, and they go, oh, this is how we do it. And then they're going to charge more because they've already got the systems in place. So one way you pay more and the other way you pay more in time.
What kind of things do you have them do for you?
Oh, wow. Well, so welcoming new members to my group. I have got a Facebook educational group on vitality and activating the good inside. And I still approve the members because I just want to make sure that it's the right type of person that I would like in my group. I don't want, spammers or anything in there. But whenever there's a good number of people to welcome, they'll do the welcome post where they tag everyone. I initially tag people in the welcome post where they can learn about, activating their survival genes and, what it means and how it can reduce the underlying cause of aging and everything that goes wrong after 20 in the body. And then I say, okay, 5 days later, please tag the people that I tagged in this post about activated skin or this post about collagen. And so they do the follow-up kind of tagging so people can learn. They don't have to spend their time searching. It's just there for them.
Yeah. Awesome. So you're also giving very specific instructions and, really delegating well, which is, again, a skill that's learned. Do you have them do anything like in your personal life, like respond to emails and that kind of thing personally?
I haven't gotten there yet. No, I do have them schedule on my calendar follow-ups for people who I've helped. And I, have like, okay, 5 days after they do this, I would like you to put an appointment in my calendar that says follow up and check in. And then that's been really helpful. I use Project Broadcast for text messaging. And so they'll add the people to that. And then I've built out sequences that nurture them and educate them along the lines. I'll just, as I'm adding tools, I'm introducing them to the tools and teaching them how to use them and finding a role for them.
Wow. That sounds awesome. It sounds like you have a really great system built up. So since we're a financial podcast, tell us a little bit about your financial journey, like where you are now. It sounds like you're doing a lot of growth, a lot of building, a lot of learning. Are you still practicing medicine? And where are you on the financial independence spectrum?
So, I am still practicing. I'm still actively practicing, but it's a semi-retired state. So there's just different amounts of my day that are spent doing different activities. And it's gone from, a little bit of this and a lot of that to a lot of this and a little bit of that. But when we first got started, it was my husband got a birthday present from his boss. My husband's a gastroenterologist, and At one point, I heard his boss say, it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. And I was kind of intrigued by that. I didn't quite get it because I wasn't really into anything but being an employed physician at that time. And gave my husband the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I'm sure you probably read it. So we began the enterprise of purchasing rental properties. And we had a broker that helped us a lot in finding a couple of good deals and projects and kind of guided us on what we needed to do. And we got those up and running and bought a couple in my home state of Florida. And then we got a little bit excited and started doing more and more and more and more and more. And then Katrina happened right where we had all of our rental houses and where we lived. So we lost our home, lost 50 or 60, we call them doors or rental properties that we had to bring back online. And there wasn't a plant nursery that was destroyed in the storm, but still had an intact building. So we bought that and needed it because we needed a place for the big semi-tractor trailers full of kitchen sinks and toilets and mirrors and lumber and all the stuff to arrive, because all of the Lowe's and Home Depots in our community were sold out of everything because everyone was building back, right? So we would go to a city 30, 40 miles away and have it shipped in. So we had this nursery that was a repository. So we got everything back up online and we had this empty nursery, which is how we ended up employing my mom to run the nursery business, which was just another stressor, and don't recommend that at all. So rental real estate. Then we both do some consulting on the side. And then my husband, his job is pretty much all employment. Then I began this journey into my mission into vitality and wellness and activating the good inside. And I love that so much. And that's resulted in an equivalent income that I had when I was working more than full-time as a neuroradiologist. It was ridiculous how much I was working, doing the board meetings in the evenings. I just leaned into what was bringing me joy and leaned away from what was sucking the life out of me. And that's where I ended up where I am today. So it's exciting.
Wow, what a journey. I wish we had more time to deep dive into that. I think you are so inspiring, and, you're doing the things that we try to teach people on this podcast is, diversify, make your life what you want it to be. And like you said, you cut down a little here, you do a little bit more of that, lean into the joy, lean into the things that bring you joy, provide a service to other people by also bringing that joy, and continue to learn and grow. I mean, you're doing it all. So thank you so much.
My pleasure. It's been fun.
Are there any last words of wisdom you'd like to leave with our audience today?
Just take time for you, no matter how little time you have. I call them stolen moments. Just steal that 1 minute for you and just build on that as you go and try to get to 2 and 3 and 4 and maybe 20 minutes just for you. You're worth it.
20 minutes. Yeah, it's not that long, but it can be really, really important. Where can they find you if they want to learn more from you, Shaun?
I'm on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, all as the VitalityMD, Shaun McKee, the VitalityMD. And you can message me on any of those platforms as well. And I have an educational group. If you'd like to delve in to learn more about that, just let me know and I'll be happy to send you the link to that group.
Thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time. We really appreciate you, and I hope you have a great day.
You too, Disha. Bye-bye.
Well, there you have it, folks. Another episode full of great wellness tips and some financial ideas as well. Remember, you can design your own life, right? That's what this podcast is about. And I love how Dr. McKee has woven her skills and her passions together into a tapestry of meaningful and profitable activities so that she can really design her life to be what she wants it to be, full of constant growth, learning, and providing meaningful value to others. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us, Dr. McKee. For everyone else, if you're inspired to create your own value-aligned income stream, take a leaf out of Dr. McKee's book. Start small, stay true to your values, and scale as you grow. Here's a challenge for you. Think about what you're passionate about and sketch out how it could potentially generate income without daily hands-on involvement. Take that first step towards creating something impactful. Make sure to follow Dr. McKee on her social media platforms to catch all of her latest endeavors and insights. All links are available on our show notes. Thanks for tuning in to Finding Financial Freedom with the Frugal Physician. I'm Dr. Spath, reminding you that financial freedom isn't just about making money. It's about making your money make a difference. Until next time, keep dreaming big, living authentically, and of course, stay frugal, y'all. Now, a final word from our sponsor. At Pearson Rabbits, they understand that life can change in an instant. It's hard to imagine that a sudden illness, injury, or catastrophic event could put you and your family in a devastating financial situation. Physician-founded and physician-focused, Pearson Ravitz builds human connections before they create quotes. Visit www.pearsonravitz.com today and embark on your journey to safeguarding your future.
The content shared on this podcast should not be taken as individualized financial advice. We are here to share our knowledge and experiences, but it is crucial to consult with professionals such as accountants, financial advisors, or attorneys who can provide personalized guidance based on your specific needs.